Player ratings then, Leicester City 0, Everton 2 at the King Power. Another absolutely fantastic 3 points for Carlo Ancelotti's Everton in another well-organised, hard-fought, just brilliant Everton performance. We looked so difficult to break down today, and that's exactly the type of performance you want to see from Everton. I don't care if the opposition has 99% of the possession. I don't care if they've constantly got the ball. As long as our defence is rock solid and not letting anything through it, and we can counter-attack and create and score opportunities on the counter-attack, that works for me, because that was another top performance by Everton today. But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. Robin Olsen in goal, obviously coming in for Jordan Pickford. Bit of a shock change for Carlo Ancelotti to make, but he has said previously that Robin Olsen will get game time. He just doesn't know when. He said before the game that Jordan Pickford was being rested. There was no injury. I thought he was very good today, Robin Olsen. I've given him an 8. Thought he was very good. Didn't have an awful lot to do. Only really had to do the basics. Obviously, he had a header fired at him from Jamie Vardy from about 5 yards out, which was straight at him, but he dealt with it comfortably. Another couple of saves that he dealt with really comfortably. Come out and commanded this area on a couple of occasions as well. Won a foul for us at a really important time in the game as well by coming out and making sure he was hit. I didn't think he put a foot wrong, to be honest. Like I said, he didn't have a wild amount to do. But I didn't think he put a foot wrong, so I've given him an 8. Ben Goffery at left back, of course, a 9. Again, so solid. Looks so comfortable at left back. There was a couple of chances, a couple of times where Leicester got in on that side, and Alex Iwobi sort of had to come over and recover in the second half. But nevertheless, Ben Goffery I thought was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant for me today. So solid again on that left-hand side. Defended really well. So strong. Again in the first half, showing his pace, getting forward, trying to link up with Richarlison and create chances up the other end. Put in a couple of really good challenges as well. And I just thought he was very good today, so he's getting a 9. Yerry Mina and Michael Keane, I've given them both a 9 again. So solid. Defensively as a unit, we were very good today. Very good. And the both centre-halves, again, didn't put a foot wrong, either of them. They were brilliant throughout. Every time the ball come into the box, it was dealt with either by Michael Keane or Yerry Mina. Michael Keane was like a wall. He was like a wall. Nothing was getting past him whatsoever. Whether Leicester fizzed it in on the floor, he was there to block it. Whether they had the shot with power, he was there to block it. Whether it coming in the air, he was there to head it away. He was just absolutely fantastic today. And again, another contender for man of the match. I haven't given him man of the match, and you'll hear why in a moment, but another contender for man of the match, Michael Keane. So he's getting a 9. Same with Yerry Mina. I think it'd be unfair to give one a 9 and not the other. Don't think Yerry Mina put a foot wrong. To be honest with you, all day. Again, very solid defensively. Everything that comes to him, he dealt with. He was bringing the ball forward as well. Fouled Jamie Vardy a couple of times in the centre of the park as well, which I really liked, because he was sort of giving that little nudge to Jamie Vardy, saying to me, you're not going to have a field day against me. I'll quite happily sit here and have you off all day. And he was very solid today. Mason Holgate, again, 9. The whole back line's getting a 9 for Mason Holgate. Another really solid defensive performance, coming over, covering when needed, sticking his foot in where he needed to as well. Made a couple of really good challenges, and of course scored the second goal. You could see how much that meant to Mason. Another really solid performance. Again, out of position for him, very similar to Ben Goffery, but I thought he was brilliant today. That whole back line, like I said, you could probably give them 10s. I know some people would argue different marks because of certain opportunities where Leicester might have got through a little bit too easily and didn't make the most of it, but again, as a whole, as a unit, I thought they were all very solid today. So they're all getting a 9, including Mason Holgate. Alan, look, it's difficult to mark Alan because obviously he went off on the 42nd minute. I've given him an 8.5 for his performance in the first half. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. And if he'd have stayed on the pitch for the entire 90 minutes, he may have got a 10 or a 9 and may have even been man of the match. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. What Alan has done over these last couple of games, which I've been very impressed with, is where we've kept a very solid defensive back line and the balls have been flying in from left, right and centre, be it from Chelsea or Leicester, and where Michael Keane and Yerry Mina have been heading them out, or Ben Goffery and Mason Holgate have been dealing with them, Alan's been that player in the middle of the park, almost like that triangle in the middle of the park, where he's just been picking up those second balls all day. And you could see when he come off and Andre Gomez come on to replace him, before Abdoulaye Doucouré decided to take up the Alan role, because he quickly realised that Andre Gomez couldn't do it. You could see in that 10 or 15 minute spell that we were missing that player. We were missing that pit bull in the centre of the park who's just there on every drop ball. Every time the ball gets cleared out the box, he's there to pick it up and either win a foul or bring it forward or give it to Iwobi or give it to Richarlison. And he does that so well, and he's done that brilliantly over the last 2 games. The defenders have dealt with it, and he's been there in the middle to pick up the scraps, bring the ball out and give it to either Sigurdsson or Iwobi or Richarlison. And when he went off, obviously, with the hamstring injury, which is very, very, very sad and disappointing. And again, we can only at this point sort of cross our fingers and hope it's nothing too serious. But it didn't look great. Obviously, going off on a stretcher is never great. But I just thought he was brilliant in that first half. And like I said, he probably could have got a 9 or maybe even a 10, but he come off at half time. I've given him an 8.5. Abdoulaye Doucouré, my man of the match for me, a 10 today. Not only absolutely fantastic whilst Alan was on the pitch doing his usual role of bringing the ball forward and using his strength and using his size and using his pace, but like I said, it only took Abdoulaye Doucouré about 5 or 10 minutes to realise that Andre Gomes can't really play that Alan role. And then Abdoulaye Doucouré thought, well, you know what, I'll have to take that up, then I'll do that. And then he was the man who was in and around the box defending, becoming sort of part of that defensive back line when Leicester were breaking forward. He was just fantastic, made a really, really good challenge on Jamie Vardy at a crucial point in the game. I think it was still 1-0 at that point. And Jamie Vardy goes one-on-one with Olsen, and Abdoulaye Doucouré makes a fantastic challenge, gets a lot on the ball, and puts it out for a corner. And I just thought he was brilliant. They didn't put a foot wrong all game. So I've given Abdoulaye Doucouré a 10. Gylfi Sigurdsson then an 8.5. Didn't create an awful lot, but worked his arse off for the entire 90 minutes, threw himself into challenges, picked the ball up where he needed to, come forward. Again, was putting the ball in the box through the free kicks and the corners. I think he put the ball in the box for the second goal as well. Just very, very good all game in terms of his overall play. Wasn't anything, out of this world, but, the minimum we expect from every single Everton player is fight, heart, passion, energy, and Gylfi brought that again today. I don't think you can really sit here and criticise him, to be perfectly honest with you. He was getting involved, he was wanting the ball, couple of really, really nice bits of play. Look, he's not blessed with the most pace in the world, so sometimes he does slow games down, but very good with the ball at his feet, won a couple of fouls in good areas as well, didn't do anything stupid in defensive areas, and I just thought he was very solid today, so he's getting an 8.5. Alex Iwobi an 8, again, very similarly, very, very solid. Spoke about him in the instant match reaction and how there was a couple of times in the game where he was getting forward, when we were under a lot of pressure, and he was just, his sole aim was, right, I'm going to bring this ball as far as I can and then I'm going to win a foul. And he done it on a couple of occasions, and that really, really frustrated Leicester, because they went from throwing the ball into the box consistently and, creating opportunities that they could potentially equalise from, because it was 1-0 at this time, to conceding a free kick all the way up the other end of the pitch, because Alex Iwobi was bringing it forward, using his strength, using his pace, using his power, getting forward and then winning fouls. I thought he was brilliant today again. Yes, his final ball needs to be improved, we all know that, but work rate, power, pace, energy-wise, football and brain as well. I think Alex Iwobi is a very, very intelligent footballer, more intelligent than he actually gets credit for. He knows where to go, he knows when to run through the middle, he knows when to run down the line, and he won a couple of free kicks in very, very good moments for us today, so he's getting an 8. Dominic Calvert-Lewin again an 8. Struggled in terms of getting on the end of chances, didn't have much to do all game in terms of that. Had one half chance, I'd say, and one header as well, but again, worked his absolute bollocks off all day. As he always does. Dominic Calvert-Lewin said it last week, he's one of the only strikers in world football who can go a game without scoring or assisting, and you're still contemplating whether he's man of the match or not, because of how much he does, how good he is, how hard he works, how much of a nuisance he is to defenders. And he was that today. He was an absolute nuisance to those Leicester City defenders, never gave them a moment's space, never gave them a minute to breathe. And yes, okay, he didn't get on the score sheet, and I don't think he registered an assist, unless the second goal classed as an assist, but his work rate was just absolutely fantastic from start to finish, or from when he come off, didn't he? So he's getting an 8, and Richarlison a 9, very, very impressed with Richarlison today, very impressed, thought he was much better than he was against Chelsea. Obviously getting that goal will have done him a lot of good, give him a massive, massive confidence boost. It's a fantastic, fantastic strike. Don't care if Michael should have saved it, I'm not a Leicester fan, so I'm not interested. It's a brilliant, brilliant strike, curls into the bottom of the goal, and I thought he was great today. And I said it in the instant match reaction, I'm not having this nonsense of, we go, is Richarlison down again? Richarlison doesn't dive find me one incident where Richarlison dives. Any football fan watching this, find me a clip of Richarlison going down on the floor where there hasn't been contact made. Does sometimes he goes down and stays down maybe a little bit longer than the contact, would seem. Yeah, maybe, but he's kicked and he's kicked and he's kicked all game. Seen today, landed awkwardly, had to go and get his wrist strapped, and he played with a very, very sore wrist, clearly, for the rest of the game. He even made a dart and run towards the end of the game and tried to create an opportunity, even though he was clearly struggling with it. He never gives up. He always gives it 110%. He's kicked constantly. Any commentator that wants to come on and try and tell me otherwise, just retire now. There's no point in you talking about football because you haven't got a clue. And again, his work rate was fantastic today, and he obviously got the chance and he scored it, and thought it was a very well taken goal. Onto the subs then. Andre Gomez, 6. Don't want to be too negative because it was a fantastic performance, but really wasn't pleased with Andre Gomez's performance today. I don't know whether that's just because he was put into the Alan role, which he can't do. Let's be perfectly honest, he can't play there. Personally think it probably should have been Tom Davies playing there instead, but again, he just seems a little bit off the pace, and obviously he gave away the penalty, which was later overturned, and rightly so. He gets the ball, but it's a very, very dangerous challenge. You're 2-0 up, you've got 10 minutes to go away from home, and you're dangling your foot in the box like that and possibly gifting a penalty. I've seen them given, by the way. I was actually a little bit surprised that it was overturned, even though he got the ball and it was a dive by Perez. You've seen those given for players dangling their feet in the area and players going down, and I just thought it was unnecessary for him to do that, and I just think he was a little bit behind the play when he was on the pitch. But again, I don't want to be too harsh or too negative. Maybe it's just that he can't play in that position. But yeah, wasn't massively impressed with Andre Gomez. He's getting a 6. Anthony Gordon and John Joe Kenny then are both getting a 7. John Joe Kenny actually had an opportunity towards the end of the game. The ball got fizzed to him, and he was standing on the edge of the box in quite a good area, and I think he just sort of panicked and knocked it back. But again, wasn't on the pitch for very, very long. And Anthony Gordon, very similarly, again, had a couple of opportunities where he picked the ball up, playing in a little bit of a defensive role towards the end of the game, as you'd expect, and didn't give it away and done everything that he needed to do. So there you go. Carlo Ancelotti's getting a 10 today. Tactically, absolutely brilliant. Set up to be solid, set up to be defensively strong, set up to be very tough to break down, very tough to play against, and that's exactly what we were. We hit them on the counter-attack, we scored 2 goals, and we won the game. Another fantastic Everton performance, and another one that we can be very, very happy and smiling about all night. Big thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Don't forget to check out the instant match reaction as well. Would really appreciate if you could do that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What a win, what a performance. Arsenal now on the weekend. Don't even know how they got on. They were drawn in 1-1 last time I checked, but if we play like that, we should piss Arsenal on the weekend. Get in, up the toffees, come on you Blues. See you later.